Good morning, good morning. It's Ona, your energy customer service rep from Chicago. If this happens one more time, I will burst into tears. Okay? Audio issues. Is anybody else having them? Constantly, constantly, constantly. I'm thinking Spirit does not want me to do this video. I'm going to get up. I'm going to walk away. I'm going to get a snack and come back. I sit down. Giblets is breathing heavy like a stalker behind me over and over again. Finally, the plumber showed up next door. Okay, so if you hear loud sounds and then dog barking, I'm, this is it. I'm done. Okay. Mercury in Pisces. The frequencies are wrestling in your head, right? I want to do this video on what is coming up for full moon and then equinox. Giblets, it's just Rocky, the plumber next door. Okay, please, buddy. Okay, he's not going to come over. He doesn't have any pencils for you to chew on. So I'm going to do this timeline brief and get to my art piece that I'm doing right now that I mentioned in the morning video, and we'll move into what's ahead for the spring equinox. Okay, so if you're new, I'm Ona. I call myself your energy customer service rep from Chicago because I have a thread of knowledge with a bunch of different disciplines, and I have a degree in nursing. I was a nurse for 30 years, and I am a Reiki master teacher, and everything else has sort of donutted around that whole career. And I like to think of this as an art channel. Okay, so that's one thing. That's one of those threads. So let me go over this timeline a little bit, okay? And we'll get to the piece. So on February 12th, I was having a lot of references, numerological references, 1212, that kind of thing was going on. Smelled jasmine. I made references to these things that happen in videos for those days, so at least it's documented somewhere. You know, I have, it's probably something I should have mentioned too, I have synesthesia, so there's this ability to smell colors, okay, and sounds and things like that, and see things in fields. So that's an important piece. So I smelled jasmine that morning. All this stuff is going on. Little by little references to the Beatles are happening and stuff like that. On the 25th, George Harrison's birthday, right? Even more Beatle references, and I believe that we had, like on the radio that day, Isn't It a Pity? And this war had just started, and there's this emotional heat bubbling in the cauldron, right? So we have some release we need to do. We know it's happening. On the 1st of March, I mentioned Instant Karma woke me up in the morning. More references to the Beatles. On the 4th of March, I went to, it was one of those days where I'm like, I need a fresh thought. I need to, it felt stale. Like there wasn't, I needed some outside stimulation because I could basically, I need some channels open to do some creative work. Okay, I was feeling that I have to do something for the full moon, and I wasn't feeling like I wanted to sew. Anyway, I go to the thrift store, okay, and while I'm in there, without a cart, okay, I just walked in. I'm like, I need a fresh idea, so I go to a vintage store, and My Sweet Lord is playing overhead. okay? In the speakers that they use to test to see if speakers still work before people buy them. My sweet Lord. I have a mask on, and I said, you know what, George, you have to point to it now, okay? You have to point to it. All these references, all these signs, all these pull to the right, pull to the left, trying to figure out what your message is. You just point to it and tell me what it is I need to figure some shit out. So I'm looking in the aisles, right? And I'm in that aisle there. I just kind of walk up to the shelves. I start scouring down and scrubbing what's going on in between there, going, oh my God, this has got to be the worst thing. I find this tambourine. My sweet Lord is playing, right? Giblets. He doesn't like it. And I turn it over, look at the price. It's $4.99. I said, all right, I could carve $5 out of the budget. Let's do this. I don't know what you want me to have this for, but let's do this. So as I'm just kind of walking around thinking, this place is awesome and their prices are incredible, I grab cards, of course, and I'm doing a little more weaving around, and I found this bar stool brand new for $5.99, and I find this porcelain doll that has a unique shape to it. I've been through hundreds of these. You know, I do art dolls, and this one had a neat shape to it, and I looked at the price. I'm like, seriously, these people don't know what a treasure this is. So I leave the thrift store with a porcelain doll, a tambourine, and a bar stool in the car like this all the way home, right? Story gets better. So I bring that home. I put the art doll upstairs. We're going to deal with that tomorrow. I start playing the tambourine for the jasmine plant. I'm playing the tambourine like crazy. Every Beatles song, and I felt so good after. It's kind of like it just broke through, like that release. And it was a different sound, and it wasn't something that I needed to experience virtually, okay? Virtual music is amazing and it's awesome, but it's not the same as live, and I needed that live jingle thing. And now Mercury in Pisces is making more sense to me. So I do that. And the weather got like super weird for the next 2 days. I'm like, I need to back off this tambourine, okay? But it's a must. I think it's a must. Just it actually physically moves you. There's vibration in it, and it jiggles it all out of you, okay? So I start the next day working on the art doll. What is this thing gonna look like, okay? I have not even one clue, but she had such a cool figure. I thought maybe it's time to do some kind of sculpture work. So I took her apart. I'm going to try and string together this series of pictures. I have, I think, 8 of them up until this point where I have us now. And you can see the timeline as it's come together. So I literally, I meditated on it. I sat and thought, what do I want it to look like? Or what is it going to look like? Give me a picture of what it's going to look like, okay? I have no clue. I could do anything to it. It is a blank canvas right now. I took off its head. I put on the glass head. It's ready, okay? And I came up with, this is going to be like a zodiac girl, okay? In meditation, I thought, oh, I have all these great images of medical astrology, a medical astrology man, where it shows what part of the body is governed by what sign. And I started to clip out the pictures. I started to think about what it was going to look like, and I started to put together this is what I have so far, okay, and I will try to explain where I'm going to go from there. Now, there is in the thumbnail one of my dolls, one of my art dolls, that I did in I'm going to say like 2007 or 2008, that I use on my logo, okay? So now this is actually going to turn into another self-portrait. The one in my logo thumbnail is a self-portrait from that time. Giblets, this is the last treats, okay, buddy? Go find it. Seriously. And this is going to be the self-portrait for 2022. So on it, I'm going to have, and I'm starting to put in the glyphs for the astrological signs, the zodiac signs that correspond to that part of the body, and I will put my own planets on here, and now it's starting to evolve. So after I got this basically decoupage onto the porcelain doll, and some of it is porcelain and some of it is just stuffing, and I just do it in layers and layers, and it's going to be it's solid, okay? She's going to be holding up, hopefully, this is my vision so far, but who knows when I'm going to find a, you know, can in the street or something, and it'll have a cool shape to it, and I'll jam it in there. Hopefully holding up a rock that I scooped out of Lake Michigan, well, Loyola Beach, last week when I was up there visiting the witch apothecary. So far, that's it. Okay, I don't think it's going to be ready for a full moon, but it's going to need the full moon blessing energy to bring in the channel that it needs for me to finish the piece. That's what we've got so far today. On this day, Pi Day, the very first jasmine bloom, and I was sitting here this morning. I've been watching these three little buds, okay, and their little skinny pathway trying to open. I thought they would have opened by now, and I'm feeding it and I'm playing the tambourine for the thing. They haven't done anything. This morning I was sitting here and I was looking out the window thinking, oh, it's too bad it's cloudy, because what an awesome day to talk to Venus while the moon is opposing her shortly. And the clouds were kind of striated, right? So I was looking out, and sure as shit, I could see Venus out there over the building across the street. So I just said, well, I'm just going to start writing whatever you got to say. So this is a message from Venus for today, okay? She wrote, can you see me above the bus stop, posturing myself for service from you? I'm ready to drop a token into your tank with a new adventure. Go see her. Go see her now. And I went downstairs, and the jasmine was open. No need for me to get emotional other than it just kind of, she just said, go run to it. And I thought, oh, you know, and I went down there and the jasmine was open. So grateful that the very first flower of 2022 opened downstairs, and we had to put it all together in a video to figure it out. I've been smelling jasmine for a long time. I even like passed by it in the tea aisle, and I'm like, and I look over all these teas, you know, I go to all these like weird stores that have aisles of tea, and I will be walking down there and I'm like, jasmine, and I look over jasmine tea. It's everywhere. That it bloomed this morning is surprising, because it feels like it's been blooming for days and it hasn't opened. It's right under the vent underneath me. So I'm like, what the hell is going on? The one that is right in front of me, I turned that around this morning, and that has a little teeny tiny baby bud on it too. So we are in that season, and I want to wrap this up by letting you know that we've got the equinox coming up after the full moon on Friday, and I'm going to be doing an ovomancy for the equinox with hopefully that equinox egg, the one that I can perfectly balance. If I can actually pull it off, I'm not sure. For ovomancy, I've been doing them at the solstice and equinox, and I don't ever touch the egg. I use a tongue all the time. So I'm going to try and do the ovomancy with an egg that I balance, and we'll see. Never know. Giblets? No, no. Inside voice. Can you do inside voice? I bet he can't. So, that's it. That's it. That's going to be it for today. You guys, thank you so much for listening to my diatribe, but I have to document some things or I'll forget them. I'm like, oh yeah, that happened last year. I really needed to let you know. I'm sorry about the constant interruption, but Giblets really likes the plumber guy, and he's going to let him know about it. So we'll see if we can figure out that issue right now. Thank you, love you, see you in the morning. Now you say nothing? Now you say nothing?